3, 2, 1, and now on Chatterbox UK, we welcome Roger Starr. Roger, hello, welcome. How are you?
Hello, Roger.
I am doing great, and thank you for having me in the show.
No, thank you. We really enjoyed the song that you've done with Dimar, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. And I basically like the way it started. It's very much an equality thing, which is very it was just ideal for the present times and what we've experienced politically around the world in the last say 6 months, especially in America. And I thought, I like this. I like this a lot. So it wasn't only a well-produced song, it was also what it was saying and in the first line as well. So what inspired you guys to do that?
Well, I wrote a song last year because of the pandemic we're going through. And initially, I didn't want to write a song about the pandemic, but it became so severe for all of us, you could not go around it. It came naturally out of me, and I lost two friends because of the pandemic. One was a reggae musician, actually from Birmingham, UK.
Sure,
he was
okay.
Jamaican English. Robert Green from the reggae band Reality. He had success, and he passed away because of this terrible disease. So I lost some people, and many people became ill. Luckily, most get well soon, but not all of us. And we're all suffering, and especially people in the entertainment business. It's totally shut down.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. I have family also. They own a bar and a restaurant. They are on the verge of getting broke totally, and they had a good life before that. So we all in this together. It's not something on our own. And you know, the trigger for me was actually writing this song. Yes, the world is going through certain type of tensions, more and more seems, and the pandemic makes it worse, I would say. But also, I think I was watching the news or I saw it on social media. I don't recall that, but I saw this scene about a year ago, something April, May last year in Egypt, where people were terrified, enclosed in their apartment in the city called Alexandria.
Yeah.
And everybody was screaming and praying. And you see, it doesn't matter what nationality, what background we are, or have old, young, we all in this together. And that gave me goosebumps, and I started writing the song.
Sure.
So that's the origin. And I'm not a great singer. I write music, I produce music, but so I thought, who could be the right person for this song to sing? And I know Dimar since 2016. Dimar, for the people who don't know, he has been the lead drummer for Little Richard for many years, since 1996. And I met him at the Porretta Soul Festival, where I had to perform with George McRae. I produced for George, Mr. Wreck Your Baby himself.
Yeah, we got him coming on here in a week or two. Brilliant.
Yeah. George is fantastic. It's a great guy. It's a fantastic singer. It's a trademark singer, literally. And he set the sound. He was part of setting the sound of the 70s. And I produced and co-wrote an album for him called Love. And I had to perform with George at the Porretta Soul Festival in Italy. There I met Dimar, who was part of the house band.
Sure,
Met a lot of great people there. So that's how we get along, and we always stayed in touch. And last year I wrote a song together with John Ellison. John Ellison is the original songwriter, composer, and artist also of a worldwide hit called Some Kind of Wonderful. And I wrote a song with him. I wrote the music, John the lyrics, about what's going on in the States with the rights and all that. And it's called Wake Up Call, Black Like Me. And that song was nominated as by a magazine called Pop Magazine, Pop Awards, Song of the Year last year. So, and Dimar also participated in that song. So
Cool, brilliant.
we are in close contact.
And of course, you both come from some great musical stock. I mean, you said yourself that you'd worked with George McRae, because I remember speaking to you about that, and he is indeed coming on, which we're really pleased about. Of course, Dimar as well, we've already spoken to, and obviously the listeners who were listening last week will already know about who he's worked with, people like Little Richard and so on. But it's fantastic. But Roger, let's just get. You've already said about the producing of albums and stuff like that for some great people. How did it all
Yes.
start for you, though, Roger? Did you come from a musical family, or how did you get to? How did Roger Starr get from a child learning music to
Yeah.
where you are now? What happened?
It's in my case, I never studied music.
Uh-huh.
I actually, as a little kid, I was on the primary school. I think I was age 9 or 10, and I loved the Rubettes, Sugar
Yes, yeah,
Baby Love,
okay, yeah.
Jukebox Jive, English glitter pop bands, which were hip at that time. And I did not had I wanted to be a drummer.
Okay.
So I always wanted to drum, but I did not have a drum kit. So I made from the soap powder boxes of my mother, I made my own drum kit. And then I was 10 or 11. They gave me like a compilation album with the hits of that time, including the Rubettes, the Sweet ABBA, but also from the Ohio players, Fire. And that was
Yes.
something for me like, wow, what's that? But I was a little boy and I played along with that music. So as typically you go to high school and you play music in a band with your friends, like many of young kids still do. And I was a drummer in a funk band. But in the area where I grew up, funk music was not that popular. So it was difficult to find a guitar player playing that type of funk. I really was into Prince also in the early 80s already. I was an early adapter in that sense. But the rest wasn't. They were more like wave and punk, which I like too, you know. But I prefer to play funk. And because, then you play live with a band, and of course you have your arguments. And after your first show, what happens? After many, many rehearsals, you break up. So you start all over again. Typically something for bands with young people in it. And then in the end, I ended up with just the bass player. And I thought, you know what? For the next guitar player, maybe we show what we are looking for. So I picked up a guitar and I knew 2 chords, nothing more. And we had a great drum computer called Roland, really tight. And so we recorded some demos, and then suddenly we had a keyboard player, a singer, and then songs came out. I started to write songs, which was not the idea at all in the beginning. As I told you, I was a drummer. And then by mere coincidence, we had a live gig with that band with someone else on the drums rather than me, because I was playing the guitar. We couldn't find someone who wanted to play funk like I like. And because of that show, I ended up, someone saw us, and I ended up playing in a really, in a local soul band, which was quite successful. And I ended up playing in that band as a guitarist, which I never considered myself as a guitar player. But because of that experience and those bands, I played a lot live with, and that's also how I got into soul music, because before that I preferred rather funk music. And I learned actually playing guitar because of that experience. But as I said, for many years, actually, I'm not a guitar player. I'm drumming on my guitar.
Okay.
But you see, in the end, yes, I'm more of a guitarist now than I am a drummer. But yeah, I play everything a little bit. I play piano, keyboard, Hammond. I have those instruments in my studio, and I use them. And sometimes I play them myself. Sometimes I hire or work with musicians who are much better. D-Marb, for instance, is a hell of a drummer. Wow, I can tell you that.
Sure. Now you'd obviously you were aware of each other. You'd done a little bit before. Is this the start of, or perhaps the continuation of some major work that you and D-Marb are going to be doing together? In your opinion, could you see each other working together on and off next decade or so?
Well, you see, this is D-Marb and I. We have a very similar taste, and we like each other. We get along very well together, and. It's very likely that we will do more. We already started with John Ellison on this. He participated a bit in that too. But you see, I'm sure more will out of it.
It's very much. I mean, do you see yourself maybe? This is so we've got this new song. Fantastic, it is too. Is it?
Thank you.
Do you see yourself producing maybe an album together, or is it just one project at a time? Maybe a song here, a song there. Write a song, release a, whatever it might be. from project to project,
Well,
maybe.
yeah, well, this could end up. You see, the point is, I have so many ideas and music in my head, and I have literally here in my studio more hundreds of songs,
Uh-huh.
hundreds. It's not just one. This is Bridges of Faith is the one I wrote a few songs last year, and if I say so, they're all really nice. But I have really hundreds of songs, and most of them are like half finished, and then like 25% of that they are completely finished, all in demo shape. And actually on the album which I did for George, some songs, two or three of them I wrote early 90s.
Wow.
And not much has changed about those songs, rather than we recorded them with fine musicians. But some of those songs were the same.
Sure.
You see, I wrote through the 90s a lot of. It's also something you have to develop. Apparently, I have a talent. In the 90s, for instance, I was very easy. I always knew right away how the music should go, but I had a headache writing lyrics. Something I just couldn't. It took me months just to come along with good lyrics. Suddenly around 2000, I had some hooks, but I was not able to finish them by myself. I needed a good singer along me, or someone who could write it, to team up to finish a good song. But somewhere around 2000, suddenly, I don't know what happened, I could. And right now I can, Bridges of Faith, I did, what you hear was, except for the vocals of Dimar, almost 100% recorded in my studio by myself. So it was all there.
Sure.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. It's just in progress.
Do you feel, had it not been for lockdown, maybe, do you feel you and Dimar would have still come up with Bridges of Faith, maybe? Could it still have been produced? Or is it just literally because of lockdown, you guys had a bit more time? No?
No, well, first of all, Bridges of Faith was really a result of the lockdown. Because I'm talking about the pandemic, and the is like a crown demon. It is Corona crown. So I'm using this type of wording in the song, and that song would have never been written if the pandemic would not have happened. But yeah, we're more at home. That's true. But in the beginning, for me, being locked down was not primarily motivating to write music. But I was at home I have two small kids and my wife, and suddenly I started, after a month or so, 2 months or something, I started to pick up my acoustic guitar, which I mainly play electric, and I started to play, and suddenly songs came out. I was sitting at the table, and they all were watching. Normally I sit behind my keyboard, a piano, and in the studio, but so that situation changed maybe a bit more the way I started to, or the writing came along. That probably was an effect.
I mean, I must make an observation now. You can imagine, like you heard about the show and you made contact with us and sent us the song. I mean, if I told you that lockdown had probably got us in excess of 1,000 different songs, all about lockdown, you will probably do please take it as some sort of a compliment when I say that this song of yours and Dimar's is one of only 4 that have made it to the show. Because I don't want to know about lockdown and that. It is about the Bridges of Faith. And as I say, that first line of yours is so important in so many ways. Yeah. And the song so it's not really a lockdown song per se. It's not just about, because you should hear some of them. I mean, some of them got taken off after about the second line. But no, honestly, so there is it's a great message that you two guys have got there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for the compliments, and I'm really honored by you saying this. But you see, the lockdown also learned us that we can only overcome this together. We are in this world all together, and that what I saw from Alexandra, that situation, it doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, whether you're poor or rich, it doesn't matter. If that virus kills you, it kills you.
Yeah.
So and we all have only one life, so we better do it right. Right. You see, and life is something precious. Really, it's not from a religious point of view, because I leave that up to each and the choice of each of one of us, but literally it's a miracle that we have a planet in this universe where we have life as we experience here on Earth, and then that on this Earth a human being has evolved, being conscious the way we are, and what over the centuries we have built up. That is something to be to cherish.
Sure.
And there is a lot of misery going on, for sure. There are a lot of bad things in the world, which we should definitely not neglect, but only by bringing each other together, unite in our differences, we can truly progress towards a better future for all of us.
Yeah, I totally saw that from the moment I opened your email. I totally saw it from that perspective, which meant a lot to me. Sue, have you got any questions for Roger?
No, I haven't actually. Sorry.
It's all right. Roger, I mean, you've been a musician for quite some time, a very long time. I mean, have you ever thought about putting your extensive career down on paper, like some sort of autobiography type thing, or is there still a few volumes to go? Because it's an interesting life you've had.
Yeah. Well, yes, you see, it was professionally. I studied geography, and music was always there. I always played live with bands and always make music. And then I became a teacher on high schools, geography also. And then mid-90s, I switched to IT business, and I'm still doing that, by the way. Still, I'm an IT consultant as well.
Well, okay.
Which makes me survive during the lockdown, because as a musician, it's really tough.
Yes.
Almost all my friends who are 100%, especially the performing musicians, it is a total disaster. Totally. So I'm in that sense a little bit more broader or lucky. So I have more choice in that sense. But music was always there, and it never went away. Sometimes you might think, you grow up and you think like, oh, that's more for when you are young, and sometimes it is. But in my case, I must say the music is getting stronger by the day. Actually, I have to force myself to close the, how you call it, whether the creativity pours down, the water pours down. If not, I go crazy. I have to focus on finishing things rather than, I have now 10 new songs or something.
Oh, gotcha.
You rather focus on one thing and finish that properly.
No,
but it's not easy in these times. It's difficult, really.
No, I understand that totally. You mentioned being an IT consultant. Even my side of it, although it's a very successful show we've got, and I do another syndicated show as nearly as many stations, but I too have to have, Nick Prince does have to have another life just to guarantee paying the bills. It's true, very incredible in this stone age, but that's the way it is. But yeah.
But you know what, Nick, what great is, the two of you follow your passion.
Yeah,
exactly.
You see, do what your heart is telling you, and you see, money, of course, making a living is important because it justifies you to spend more of your professional time towards what you love best.
Sure.
And I try to do that as much as possible with my music as well. And sometimes I can do that better than other times. And I'm making a living out of it. But last year was just not so. No, but I'm growing. I'm still growing, and I have so much more music with other artists coming up for release, where I'm producing or co-writing or writing. It's not, and I have so many more to give.
Sure. Out of just to clarify, out of you and Dimar, which one is it? You that's the singer?
No, Dimar
is
the
Dimar.
singer.
That's not. Just Sue.
Yeah, and the backing vocals is a friend of Dimar, Angela Wall. She's fantastic. I'm not a real singer. What I always do with, and I used to be very, I didn't dare nobody to show my voice. Now what I do now, I write the music then, and I put down a guide vocal.
Cool, perfect.
And then I for who could be the song? See, and in this case, I had to think about Dimar. So I presented it to Dimar. He loved it. And he did a great take on the vocals, and so we sent the tracks over and over. He literally building a bridge over the Atlantic.
Very
You see,
good, very good.
the way we work, Diemar and I, is already building a bridge.
Perfect.
And we both have faith in our creativity and what we're trying to tell the people. So this is actually we're building a bridge ourselves, the Atlantic bridge. So and Diemar did great, and we worked hard on it, and we both are very satisfied with the result. And Diemar, by the way, himself, because this song I produced and I wrote it, but I tell you, Diemar is a great producer and a songwriter himself. He's very productive.
Cool, brilliant. Roger, do you have a website people can look at, or is there an official Facebook group page, or whatever it is you've got?
Yeah.
Please throw it at the listeners now.
Well, I think the best thing, the song, first of all, Bridges of Faith, is released worldwide on all digital platforms. So if you go to Spotify, you will find it. Go to Amazon, Deezer, Apple Music, doesn't matter, you will find it. But you type in the title, Bridges of Faith, between brackets, maybe One World, or you type in Diemar, D accent M-A-R. And the website of Diemar, because since he is the main artist on this record, I would say, since he's the singer, type in diemarmusic.com, and you will find the webpage of Diemar. And if and myself, as Roger Starr, not yet. I have a Facebook page, but it's small. I'm just starting out as an artist in that sense. But you can go to popmi.com, Popmi, from Do Re Mi. .com. That's the label releasing the song. There you can find it too.
Cool.
So and you can find it on Facebook as well, of course. Diemar's on Facebook, myself as well. The record label Popmi is also on Facebook.
Perfect.
But the best guess is go to YouTube or Spotify. That's the best place to listen to the song.
Of course, for the downloads, etc. What is the official release date of Bridges of Faith? What date has it got worldwide?
Worldwide was the 2nd of April.
Already out. Perfect. So nice and
It's
easy.
already out, yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Roger Starr, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you on Chatterbox UK. Thanks for coming on, and
Thank you.
do keep in touch and send me more stuff, and hopefully we'll have a chat again in the future. And the best of luck. It is a very important message, and I took to it. The first line just sold it. Yeah.
Keep it up, stay positive, be together, love each other. And Nick and Sue, I thank you so much for your show. And we share a passion, and that's great music. Love you all.
Indeed, and you and the family do please keep safe. And once again, thank you very much. And I'll get you a link to the shows when they go out.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Roger. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.